The NBA's like father, like son. There have been a number of father-son duos in the NBA. Some of them have been very successful, while others not so much. So go ahead and enjoy the most notable father-son tandems in the NBA and how they turned out. First off, we got Dell Curry and Stephen and Seth Curry. When you put it all together, Dell Curry and Stephen and Seth are the most successful father-son trio the NBA has ever seen. All three of them had long and successful careers. Dell Curry was a sharp shooter during his playing days and is currently working as a TV analyst for the Charlotte Hornets. Meanwhile, Seth Curry is currently one of the best shooters in the NBA. Although his road to the NBA was much harder, he was emerged as one of the deadliest perimeter snipers in the league today. After stops in Portland, Sacramento, Dallas, and Philly, he's now playing a key role on the Nets, even though the Nets, well, yeah. And if you've been living under a rock, there's Stephen Curry. There's no need for introduction. The greatest shooter of all time. Steph definitely cemented his mark on the game and changed it for the better or maybe for the worse. Who knows? Everyone wants to shoot. Next up on this list is Joe Bryant and the great Kobe Bryant. Now this is another example of a very successful father-son duo in the NBA. Joe Jelly Bean Bryant enjoyed a short career as a player and a lengthier stint as a coach in the various leagues around the world. He played for Philadelphia, San Diego, and Houston before playing quite a few years overseas. His most notable stop, though, was in Italy, where he balled up, and that's where he raised Kobe, in Italy. That's why Kobe was so intelligent at a young age. And then, of course, we got Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest basketball players to ever play. He can be in the GOAT debate for sure. He spent his entire 20 years with the Lakers, got 5 championships, the 2 finals MVPs, and the one-time season MVP, even though we know he could have had way more. And if you were a late 90s or early 2000s baby, you know you were saying Kobe every time you was shooting that trash in the classroom. And of course, the number 8 and 24 are both retired in the Staples Center, something that many players definitely don't have. Next up is Michael Thompson and Klay Thompson. And another duo. Michael Thompson was the #1 overall pick in the 1978 NBA draft, and he went on to have a successful career. He won 2 NBA championships with the Lakers, and he was also a member of the 1980 USA Olympic team. And then we got his son Klay, one of the best shooters in the NBA. The man's had 60 points in 29 minutes. Like, what? He's a 5-time All-Star, has the championships, and of course, he has captivated the world all over. But wait, don't let me ever forget how he torched Sacramento for 37 points in 1 quarter. Now we got Bill Walton and Luke Walton. Bill Walton is one of the most accomplished players in the NBA. He won 2 championships, he was a 1-time finals and regular season MVP, and he was also a member of the 1972 USA Olympic team. So of course, in 1993, he was inducted to the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. His son Luke Walton followed in his footsteps, and he had a 10-year playing career for the Los Angeles Lakers and Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, not the most dominant player, but he did have that savvy on those 2 Lakers teams that won the championship. But after retiring from the hoop court, he immediately transitioned to coaching and won another championship, but as an assistant coach on the Golden State Warriors in 2015. Head coaching, we gotta see. Then there's Tim Hardaway and Tim Hardaway Jr. Tim Hardaway Sr. was one of the best point guards of his generation. He was the original crossover king. He was a 5-time All-Star and a member of the Run TMC Golden State Warriors that electrified basketball in the early 90s. After stops in Miami, Denver, Indiana, and Dallas, he retired from the NBA in 2003. His son, Tim Hardaway Jr., has also had a successful NBA career. He was drafted by the New York Knicks in 2013 and has since carved out a nice role for himself as a 3-point shooter. Now, after being in New York and Atlanta, he found his home in Dallas with Luka. Now we got Arvida Sabonis and demante Sabonis. Arvida Sabonis is a legend from the European League. He was one of the best players in the world during his prime, and he was inducted into the FIBA Hall of Fame in 2010. He played on various teams over in Lithuania before the Ball Bros, and he played on the Portland Trail Blazers in the NBA. His son, Demante has also had some success in the NBA. He was drafted in 2016 by OKC Thunder, but luckily for him, he was traded to the Indiana Pacers. He has since established himself as one of the best young bigs in the league, and he's also been an All-Star twice already. He's smooth. And last but not least for this list is Gary Payton and Gary Payton II. You already know the Glove was one of the best point guards to ever play the game. He was a 9-time All-Star and a member of the 1996 USA Olympic team. He also got an NBA championship in 2006. And until this year with Marcus Smart, he was one of the only point guards to win Defensive Player of the Year. After being notorious in Seattle, he went to Milwaukee, Los Angeles, and Boston, and retired from the NBA in 2007. Then there's his son, Gary Payton II, and he followed in his father's footsteps and starting to make a name for himself in the NBA, both for his tenacious defense and his absurd leaping ability too. When he was playing for Oregon State, he was named the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year in 2016. After brief stops in Milwaukee, Los Angeles, and Washington, Gary Payton II has really found himself a role on this Golden State Warriors team, even though Dillon Brooks, dirty or not, he took him out. Now that wraps it up for the NBA's Like Father, Like Son. Man, make sure to give a thumbs up, appreciate the view, subscribe by the bell if you're new, and as always, thank you for watching.